The dust on her lips tasted like defeat. Emma's vision blurred as she stumbled toward the weathered ranch house, her legs trembling beneath her like saplings in a storm. 3 days. 3 days since she'd eaten anything more than rainwater collected in her cupped palms. 3 days since the bus had dropped her at the wrong crossroads, miles from anywhere, with nothing but $12 and a broken phone in her pockets. The Oklahoma sun beat down mercilessly as she reached the wooden porch, her hand grasping for the post. The world tilted sideways, and the last thing she heard before darkness swallowed her whole was the creak of a door opening and a man's voice, thick with concern, calling out, "Miss. Miss, are you all right?" When consciousness flickered back, she felt herself being lifted, strong arms beneath her knees and shoulders, the scent of hay and leather filling her senses. Through half-closed eyes, she glimpsed a weathered face, kind eyes creased with worry lines, silver stubble catching the afternoon light. "Don't you worry now," the voice rumbled, gentle as a summer rain. "You're home now." Those 3 words, "you're home now," spoken to a complete stranger collapsed on his doorstep, would change everything. Emma woke to the soft glow of lamplight and the weight of quilts piled on top of her. For a moment, panic seized her chest. Where was she? The last clear memory was walking, endless walking, the highway stretching before her like a cruel promise. She tried to sit up, but her body protested, weak and hollow. "Easy there." The voice came from a rocking chair in the corner. The man who'd spoken those words, "You're home now," sat with his hands folded, watching her with the same concern she'd glimpsed before fainting. He was perhaps 60, with the solid build of someone who'd spent a lifetime working the land. "You've been out for about an hour. I called Doc Henderson. He's on his way." "I don't have money for a doctor," Emma whispered, her voice cracking. Shame burned her cheeks. "I don't have money for anything." The rancher stood slowly, his boots heavy on the wooden floor. "Didn't ask if you did. I'm Clay Morrison, and this is my ranch." "What's your name, young lady?" "Emma. Emma Cordova." The words came out barely above a whisper. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to, I was trying to get to Tulsa. To my aunt's place. The bus driver said he'd drop me at the right stop, but I think he didn't. And my phone died, and I've been walking, and I ran out of money 2 days ago, and I'm so sorry." "Stop apologizing." Clay's voice was firm but not unkind. He disappeared through a doorway and returned moments later with a tray. The smell hit her first: soup, warm bread, apple juice. Her stomach clenched so violently she gasped. "Doc said if you woke up before he got here, to give you small sips." "Easy now. Not too fast." Emma wanted to cry as the first spoonful of broth touched her lips. It tasted like hope, like kindness, like every good thing she'd thought the world had run out of. Clay sat back down, giving her space but staying close enough to help if she needed it. He didn't ask questions, didn't demand explanations, just let her eat in silence while the evening shadows grew long across the bedroom floor. The doctor came and went, pronouncing her dehydrated and malnourished but fundamentally sound. "Few days of good food and rest, she'll be right as rain," Doc Henderson said, patting Clay's shoulder on his way out. "You did good, Clay. Real good." That night, as Emma lay in the guest room of a stranger's house, she stared at the ceiling and tried to piece together how her life had fallen apart so spectacularly. 6 months ago, she'd had an apartment in Denver, a job at a bookstore, a boyfriend who'd promised forever. Then came the layoffs, the eviction notice. The boyfriend who disappeared when things got hard, taking her laptop and what little savings she'd tucked away. Her parents were gone, dad to cancer 3 years back, mom to a car accident just last winter. Aunt Rosa in Tulsa was her last thread of family, her only hope for a fresh start. She'd never imagined that thread would lead her to collapse on a stranger's porch in the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma. The next morning, Emma found Clay in the kitchen, scrambling eggs at an old cast iron stove. Sunlight streamed through gingham curtains, illuminating a room that looked like it hadn't changed since 1975, and somehow, that felt comforting. "Sit," Clay said, nodding toward the table. "You need to eat regular today." "Small meals," Doc said. "Mr. Morrison, I can't thank you enough, but I need to." "Clay. Just Clay." He set a plate in front of her. "And you need to rest. That's what you need to do. I need to get to Tulsa. To my aunt's. Called the number you had in your wallet. Woman named Rosa." Emma's heart jumped. She answered. "Is she?" She's been worried sick. Police report filed and everything. I told her you were safe, that you'd call her after breakfast. Clay poured coffee, his movements deliberate and calm. Also told her you'd be staying here a few days until you got your strength back. I can't impose like that. You've already done so much. Clay sat down across from her, his weathered hands wrapped around his own coffee mug. You know what my late wife Martha used to say. She said the Lord puts people in our path for a reason. Sometimes we're meant to help. Sometimes we're meant to be helped. But we're always meant to pay attention. His eyes, a faded blue like old denim, held hers. I'm paying attention, Emma. And what I see is someone who needs a safe place to land for a minute. So that's what I'm offering. No strings. No debt. Just kindness. The tears came then, hot and unstoppable. All the fear, all the hunger, all the desperate loneliness of the past weeks poured out of her. Clay handed her a napkin and waited, patient as the plains themselves. Over the next 3 days, Emma discovered that Clay Morrison ran a modest cattle ranch with the help of 2 part-time hands. He'd lost Martha 2 years ago to pneumonia, and their only son lived in Seattle with a family of his own, too busy with tech world success to visit often. The house still bore Martha's touches, her herb garden slowly growing wild, her romance novels on the shelves, her presence in every carefully chosen piece of furniture. She'd have liked you, Clay said on the 3rd evening as they sat on the porch watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of amber and rose. Martha always had a soft spot for strays, 2-legged and 4-legged both. Emma smiled, her strength returning with each good meal, each full night's sleep. I'm grateful she married someone who inherited that quality. Learned it from her, more like. Clay rocked slowly in his chair. You talked to your aunt again today. I did. She's expecting me this weekend. She sent money for a bus ticket through Western Union. Emma paused. Clay, I don't know how to thank you. You saved my life. No thanks needed. But I do have something to ask you. Clay turned to look at her. Martha and I used to run this place together. She handled the books, the correspondence, the business side while I managed the cattle and the land. Since she's been gone, I've been drowning in paperwork. My son keeps saying I should sell, move to some retirement community, but this land. He gestured at the rolling fields, the ancient oak tree in the yard, the barn where swallows nested. This land is my heart, Emma. I can't leave it. What are you asking? Stay. Not forever, I know you've got your own path to walk. But stay a month, maybe 2. Let me pay you fair wages to help me organize this mess of an office, get my accounts in order, maybe help around the house. Give yourself time to save up properly before you start fresh in Tulsa. Give yourself time to heal. Emma's breath caught. The offer was more than generous, it was a lifeline. But more than that, it was trust. This man who'd found her broken on his doorstep was offering her not just charity, but purpose. Dignity. A chance to give back. Are you sure? She whispered. Clay nodded. You're home now, Emma. I meant that when I said it. And home isn't just about having a roof over your head. It's about having a place where people see your worth, even when you can't see it yourself. 6 weeks later, Clay's office was transformed from chaos into order. Emma had discovered she had a gift for organization, for understanding the rhythms of ranch business. She'd helped with everything from filing to fence repair, learning the land as she learned herself again. Her aunt called weekly, delighted that Emma was finding her footing, in no rush to pull her away from this healing place. On a crisp October morning, Emma stood in the kitchen making coffee when Clay came in from the barn, a thoughtful look on his face. Emma, I've been thinking. That spare cottage near the creek, the one I've been using for storage. What would you say to fixing it up? Making it proper living quarters? He cleared his throat. You've become indispensable around here, and well, if you wanted to stay on longer term, manage the business side permanent like, there'd be a place for you. A real place. With a home of your own on the property. Emma set down the coffee pot, her heart full. She thought about the woman who'd fainted on this porch 2 months ago, hollowed out by hunger and hopelessness. She thought about the man who'd lifted her up and said, with absolute certainty, you're home now. He'd been right. This ranch, this unlikely place, had become exactly that. I'd like that, she said softly. I'd like that very much. Clay smiled, the kind of smile that crinkles the corners of your eyes and reaches all the way to your soul. Then it's settled. Welcome home, Emma. For real this time. Outside, the Oklahoma wind whispered through the grass, carrying with it the promise that sometimes the wrong road leads you exactly where you need to be. That sometimes strangers become family. And that sometimes, when you've lost everything, you find what matters most, a place where kindness isn't transactional, where home isn't about walls and roofs, but about being seen, being valued, and being told, by someone who means it with their whole heart, "You're home now." And finally believing it's true.